Hello and welcome back to Your Biz, Your Rules. Today we're going to dive into what you now know is one of my favourite topics of all time, Instagram. Specifically, I'm going to share 5 days worth of rinse and repeat Instagram post ideas that you can use again and again and again and again. Because we've talked about Instagram stories, we've talked about how to really optimize your profile, we've talked about how to engage with your people on Instagram, and now I really want to share some post inspiration because I know that blank screen syndrome is something that we can all face from time to time. Now, this episode was actually inspired by a series of Instagram stories I did a while back, but I got such a great response that I wanted to share it again and also share it a little bit more deeply with a few more ideas and a few more examples that you can take away and play around with. Now, I'm a big fan of what I call inspiration frameworks. So these are almost like prompts but slightly more structured that you can plug in your business information or your personal information and really tweak them to make them yours and to make them sort of personality fueled in your way. Okay, that was a long blathering introduction, but you get what I mean. You're gonna get 5 days worth of Instagram posts that you can use over and over. So on that note, let's start with the first one. So the first one is kind of an obvious choice, but it's to take a piece of your content and share it on Instagram. And by a piece of your content, I mean something that you've published elsewhere. So maybe it's a blog post, maybe it's a podcast, maybe it's a long juicy live stream, maybe it's a video on YouTube. Anything that you are trying to point people towards, use that. And there are a few different ways you could do that. You could share like one of the key takeaways or like a really good actionable tip that was included in that piece of content. You could pull out a memorable quote and maybe elaborate on that and put a slightly different spin on it. You could maybe share a series of bullet points that highlight some of the key points that you dive into in more depth in that piece of content. You can get really creative with this and you can present each piece of content in a different way so that your posts never feel samey. You could also talk about perhaps your motivation for creating that piece of content. Were you asked a question? Were you writing it in response to something else you'd seen online? Like, think about that sort of thing as well and share that snippet of behind the scenes with your people. Instagram's great for behind the scenes stuff. Okay, post number 2. Share something you've read and how it's inspired you to do something. So let's think of a few ways that you could twist this. You could talk about a blog post that you've read that has inspired you to create a free challenge or an opt-in or some sort of series of your own. You could talk about a book that you've read. It might be personal development, it might be related to your business niche, it might even be fiction, but something that has really made you want to take action and implement a particular lesson. Another way that you could twist this is if you've read an essay or an opinion piece that you either really agree with or really disagree with, you could share your response. Okay, so that's your second post. Post number 3. Share a habit or activity that impacts the way you live or work. So this could be a particular routine that either sets your day up for success or like closes your day down in a positive way or allows you to take breaks in a way that really fuels you. It could be a signature technique or process that you do as part of your day-to-day work. It could be simple habits that help you stay productive or motivated or inspired. Any of that stuff. People lap that up. We all love reading about people's morning routines. We all love reading about their productivity hacks. So make the most out of what you know your people want. Okay, post number 4. Share something you've listened to that really made you think. So this could be an audiobook that prompted you to make a particular change. So I can give you a specific example for this one. So a few weeks, maybe about 2 months ago now, I listened to Brave, which is Rose McGowan's book, and I had like this epiphany when I came to the end about being a really terrible feminist, and I just felt very motivated to want to dig into that a little bit more and really explore what feminism means to me and how I bring it to life in my own world. And it really inspired me to read more on the topic and get involved in more conversations and not just sit there quietly when I felt like I needed to share my thoughts and share my opinion. So that's one example of me using this sort of technique. And I did actually post about this on Instagram, so I really am following my own lessons. Another way that you could twist this is if you listen to podcasts, you could talk about a podcast that has inspired a thought piece, and you can write that thought piece and write that response. Anything that's been prompted by something you've listened to. You could also talk about maybe a mood altering playlist or song or anything like that that's really made you get in the zone or think about things. If any lyrics have really impacted you, that would work too. I love seeing those posts where people are inspired by quotes and lyrics. I love them. Love them, love them, love them. And I always play that little game with myself where I try and remember what song it's from. It works on so many levels. Okay, and the final post is to share a lesson that you have truly enjoyed implementing. So this could be a takeaway that you've had from a course that you've done. So I know I've spoken about Gram Slam quite a bit over the past couple of months, which is Alex Beeden's course all about Instagram stories and how you can use them to really bring your personal brand to life online. And I loved that course. There were so many aha moments and fun things that I learned, and so I'm consistently sharing those takeaways. And if I help more people discover the amazingness of that course, well, that's just a bonus. Another way that you could twist that is to take a tip from a YouTube video or a live stream that you've watched and share that wide. So for me, like one of the ones, it sounds so stupid, but one tip that I've taken from a YouTube video this year, it was from Amy Landino's video on building an amazing, productive morning kind of thing. And she talks about starting the day every single day with a glass of lemon water. And I thought, I'm going to try doing that because I love lemons. And honestly, I've never stopped. Like from that first day, drinking this glass of lemon water every single day has really woken me up, really like jolted me into a space of sanity, which never used to happen for me first thing in the morning. But that's something that I've really enjoyed implementing and has genuinely had an impact on the way I live and work. So it's something that I wanted to talk about. And then another way to twist this post idea is to really explore ideas that you've been sharing with your biz buddies. If you have regular brainstorming chats or accountability chats and a tip or technique comes up in conversation that you have tried out, talk about that. Use that as your prompt for this post. And I hope that you've seen through all of this how easy it is to take a simple prompt, put a bit of a spin on it, and get really creative with the way you're showing up online. So I'm going to quickly run back through the 5 key prompts, and I want you to just think about how you can make each of these your own. So number 1, take a piece of your content that you've published elsewhere and share it. Number 2, share something you've read and how it's inspired you to do something. Number 3, share a habit or activity that's impacted the way you live or work. Number 4, share something you've listened to that really made you think. And number 5, share a lesson you've truly enjoyed implementing. Oh, and if you're interested in endless plug and play Instagram post inspiration, do check out my Instagram planner, completely free, but I'll pop it in the show notes. But you can download that and never run out of content ideas ever again. Have a great day. Thank you for listening to Your Biz, Your Rules. I hope you enjoyed listening to this episode as much as I enjoyed creating it. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about weaving personality into your business, please feel free to hop over to my website, darapaddy.com. That's where you'll find all kinds of resources and all kinds of inspiration for just being a little bit more you online, because it is possible.